Hey, and we want to welcome everybody tonight to the Oswald Racing 100 from Daytona International Speedway in the Magic Manzo's ARCA series, brought to you by Flexible Freight Solutions. Now, a little bit different here this week, as the field has already been set from the duels that happened last week. So, no qualifying or anything like that to watch. And we should have ourselves a great race here tonight, as we have got 33 cars in the field. And we are set and ready to go here for some great plate track racing in the ARCA series. And we'll pull up our grid here, and we have got Matt Cleveland, who took the pole a couple weeks ago, actually, in the qualifying from Pale Horse Racing, starting first. Starting at his outside is Charles Stevens, and that number 88 from Big Fish Motorsports. Starting third is Justin Henry, number 85. Starting fourth is Josh Lokovitz in that 79. Starting fifth is going to be Kyle Robertson, number 35. To his outside, Ellen Konecki in 72. Starting seventh is Garrett Kinder at number 13 from Reaper Racing. Starting eighth is going to be Mickey Isaac in that 01. Starting ninth is going to be Mike Thief at number 9. Starting 10th is going to be Keith Durston at 94. Starting 11th is in the 53 car is Stephen M. Gibson. Starting 12th is going to be Colton Lanford in that number 25. Starting 13th is Jason Lottridge in that number 48. Starting 14th is Charlie Gates. And starting 15th is going to be Eric Burkhalter there, Jamie, in that number 71. Starting 16th is going to be Phil the Hitman Monzo in the 44. Starting 17th is Butch Taylor in the number 33. Starting 18th is Josh Oswald in the number 17. Starting 19th is Chuck Feltz, our Marine, starting in that 75 car. And rounding out the top 20 is going to be Jesse Necula. And we'll get back to the rest of the field, but the field is getting ready to take the green here. So want to make sure we get the green flag and get race for race number 1 here in the ARCA Series Season 3. And we are underway. Great start to the race so far. All cars side by side right now. The inside line's a little bit more lined up, and the outside line is starting to form here a little bit. But good start here, as it looks like we got a couple cars. Front 6 or 7 here is really broken away. We've got a big wreck happening back in the back of the pack right now.
Oh my goodness.
Looks like a lot of different cars involved in this one. I've seen Charlie Gates, Jesse Necula, Chuck Feltz, Davy Jones, Spencer Gay, all have crashed at the start of this thing. So we'll go back and see if we can't take a look at what happened here. It looks like the 9 pushes up, catches the 25, 94 gets involved, and just mayhem ensues from there. Tough start to the race for a few of these guys right now.
Yeah, you definitely don't want that to happen at the beginning of the race. I think a lot of guys are probably just wanting to kind of ride a little bit, and looks like the 9 car just gets out of line and pushes up into the 25, and they go spinning.
It's always tough with this plate racing and pack racing, and one little mistake and you're going to collect up 5, 6, 10 cars. And this one definitely has collected up its fair share of cars tonight.
Yeah, hopefully after that one they'll start to calm down a little bit, and maybe that'll wake some folks up. It's pretty late. Some guys are tired, so maybe they everybody's awake now. Go in and get a fast repair. I believe they got 2 fast repairs tonight. Go in there and get that fixed and get back into it. Try to calm down a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a pretty short race here tonight. I mean, it's only 40 laps from what I'm seeing here. So, a lot of times when it comes to some of these plate races, you get involved in something early. You're able to get that car fixed up, but it does put you back in harm's way at the back of the pack. So hopefully, like you said there, Eddie, these guys calm down here a little bit, get in line, and we get some good green flag laps here this evening, as it still looks like we've got a couple cars that are definitely still limping around the track, probably just trying to stay on the lead lap. That 9 car looked like the right front suspension was completely broke on it. He's got that fast repair in the back pocket. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I really like the ARCA car. The draft package here is really interesting because it's one of the few stock cars out of the, from the D up to the A that you can't actually bump. You can push a little bit maybe on the straightaway, but even there it's so dangerous. It's not even worth the effort that, whatever you might gain by doing it. So most of the time, the fastest way to try to get a run on somebody is to get right tucked up under their bumper and try to drag the brake just a little bit and stay as close as you can. But it's a lot like the trucks without being able to bump. Such big runs. So even if you get into the back or something like that, I think a lot of times a couple cars, 2 or 3, get together and get close. They can make some moves. So hopefully we see some of that tonight.
Yeah, I completely agree with you there, Eddie. I mean, in the trucks, you do build those big runs, but you definitely don't want to get into the back of another truck. It gets real light. And you take the air off the back of that truck, and you take the air off your own nose. These ARCA cars, they can be a handful, let alone trying to take any of the air off of them whatsoever. So, see, again, if these guys calm it down here a little bit, get back to some green flag racing. Been some great racing all last season. A lot of really good races, a lot of really strong drivers here in this series. New sponsor here this year, Flexible Freight Solutions, came on board to sponsor the series, so happy to have them on board. Obviously, a new kind of broadcasting here. Jamie and I have been doing the broadcasting for the ARCA series for quite some time, but now we've brought it over to our network here at Goat Locker Racing. So happy for everybody that's tuning in, whether you're on Twitch or YouTube, or I think we even launched it on Facebook this time. But happy to have everybody on board here this evening and hanging out with us and watching some great ARCA action here tonight.
And I'm finally in, so our technical difficulties have been remedied.
All right.
Yeah, it just wouldn't be the same without you, Jay.
I felt lonely. I was talking to Pat, and I was like, "Man, we need Jamie in here. I need somebody else to talk to."
Between this and the Xfinity race tonight, I'm about ready to throw stuff out the window. So hopefully, maybe that caution came out, so I didn't miss too much of this, and now we can run the rest of it.
Yeah, I don't know whether I should be offended by that statement or not, Eddie. I'm just going to roll with it, though, at this point in time, and maybe I'll take you to the race trailer after this one, and we can talk this one through.
Man, it's only my second race. I'm already in trouble.
Really looking forward to some good action here tonight. Daytona, I tell you, Eddie and Jamie, sometimes Daytona can provide some really exciting racing. Sometimes you get into one of these things, it just becomes a lot of caution. Hopefully we'll see some great racing here tonight here in the ARCA series. New sponsor again on board with Flexible Freight Solutions. And know we want to put on a good show for them, so anxious to get some green flag laps underway here.
Yeah, plate racing is not my first love, second love, third love, or fourth love in iRacing. So I do not enjoy it at all. But it sound like y'all had some really good luck in the Rebels Truck Series. So I'm going to defer to y'all tonight.
Yeah, as we get ready to take the green flag, and it is back out again. We are completing lap number 5 of scheduled 40 here this evening, the Oswald Racing 100, race number 1, season number 3 in the ARCA series, hosted by Magic Manzo and Flexible Freight Solutions. And it looks like this time we've got a much cleaner start. Everybody's stacked up 2 by 2 all the way back through the field. And that number 19 car of Matt Kleeman is out front with the 85 of Justin Hendry to his outside.
You see that top line getting a really, really good run. It looks like they're a little bit closer together. The 1988 are pretty close. 79 is kind of lagging back. But the top 3 are so nosing down. They were able to get a nose out there on that backstretch. But the bottom line's getting a little bit of run now. So see if they can materialize that top line.
Yeah, that bottom line looked to get a little broken up there. And a lot of times when it comes to these plate races, what I've seen, not only in the Cup cars, the Xfinity cars, the trucks, kind of seen it a little bit here in the ARCA, is that outside line can really get a run on the straightaways. Through the corners, that inside line prevails. So it's a lot of back and forth between those 2 lines.
Yeah, it seems like if you can get somebody with you that can stay, lined up, doesn't weave around a whole lot, you can really, really make a move. You see 85 doesn't got about a car that just, barely couldn't get it front of them. So close, but that top line is hooked up. They got some guys up there that are really doing a good job, and so it looks like it's going to be a battle. But it looks like, just like you said, that bottom line in the corner is just kind of sneaks on back out there.
Yeah, and if you can get the cars lined up there on the inside line, you're really able to really control this race. But you'll see big runs, especially down the back straight away from the outside line. And it really depends on if the cars on that outside line are committed to one another, or if you see that 85 car, drop down and try to get in front of that time. So we'll have to see as it continues to go who's committed to who, or if everybody's out here just kind of racing to see if they can get up to the lead.
Another thing about that top line is in the truck and the cup car, you can actually get to somebody's bumper. And I know a really, really good strategy for 2 cars on the bottom is to hold the, try as the top line starts to get a run, you get on that bumper. And that was close.
Sorry about that, Eddie.
No, that's okay. That was definitely more important heat.
Our first lead change and underwear change all in one.
Yeah. But yeah, it seems like you can get that push on the bottom in other series, but here you can't do that, and so the top line gets a little bit more of an advantage. So that makes for some really good racing. It's a lot of fun to watch.
Yep. Mickey Isaac. Yeah. Golly, and they are definitely mixing it up here. They're coming up to clean black, number 9 of our schedule for you here this evening. Oswald Racing 100, brought to you by Magic Mazda's ARCA Series, now sponsored by Flexible Freight Solutions. Had that early caution. Damn, a lot of great racing here, and definitely seeing, if some of these guys are committed to one another, or if that top line is just going to keep pushing a car out, that car drops down, and the next one moves out front.
Says lap car that they're getting around. Yep. Oh no, that's Aaron Adcock in the 23.
Yeah, that's Aaron Adcock to the outside right now, and we're seeing. Well, I'll tell you, Eddie, we're seeing your teammate there from Jason Motorsports in that 31 car moving up through the field. So good to see Jonah Colbert moving up through the field.
Well, he told me before the race. I asked him about this racing's getting amazing. He told me he was going to sit in the back and ride. Well, I guess he's just alive. He ain't riding nothing. He probably saw, sometimes the guys get in the back and they want to lift and stuff, and you end up losing the draft. So it's a tough thing, tough call if you're not right out front to decide what you want to do. You get a huge run. Good grief. And they're still 3 wide. Wow.
Yeah, I've had the best of intentions some races to hang back or just relax and run some lap runs, but I get into the race and that all goes out the window when I start building runs, start getting wide-eyed and seeing the leader in front of me. So looks like Jonas said he was going to ride the back. He's doing anything but that right now.
Yeah, sometimes it can be a little bit safer up front. It just depends on who you're driving around. And like you said, you get those runs and everybody turns into earnhards. They pop the mustache out and they start taking those runs and stuff. And you have a lot of fun. You see those runs. Sometimes you just gotta take it and see what happens. I mean, it's called racing. It ain't always called winning. So sometimes you gotta take some chances and see what happens.
Ooh. Guys in the back changing lanes pretty dramatically. Looks like everybody got through it okay though. It's like what is it, 53, number 53, Steven Gibson's got some front end damage on that right front there. Right front is caved in pretty good, but he's able to hold into the draft even with that.
A lot of times the draft can mask some damage for you if you've got a car in front of you and a car behind you. You can kind of hang in there. It's when you get out back and you're trying to keep up with the pack that you lose it. The nose of that 53 car is definitely punched in there. It looks like it's been center punched at some point in time.
You get that front end damage. You're like, well, I guess I'm gonna push it for the rest of the race.
Yeah, pretty
you go
much.
out, you get you a run, trying to go out there, and all of a sudden it's just like a parachute comes out behind your car and go right to the back. So
some great racing right now as we've completed 13 laps of our scheduled 40, and you know, I'll kind of echo what you said there, Eddie. I'm not a big fan of plate racing. A lot of times when I get into some of these plate races, I take a lot of chances just because it's a roll of the dice. And, yeah, me and Jamie had some great runs in the duels for the Rebels Truck Series on Sunday. I actually won my duel on a 3-wide move on the last lap because, hey, sometimes you just got to go for it and see what happens. Jamie had a great duel himself and ended up finishing third in his duel. So we are set and ready for the Rebels race on Sunday, Truck Series. But yeah, when you get into some of this plate racing, I don't know. For me, sometimes I'm okay with sending it 3-wide. I'm okay with taking some chances because, if you don't take chances, you never know. You might. Oh, and speaking of that, the 19 gets into the 01.
Oh, no. Oh, that's the whole field right there, with the exception of Justin Hendrick.
oh man,
Yeah.
that's a big one.
And that has tore up most of the field there. As we still have cars wrecking left and right. We'll try to go back and see where this thing actually started at. And we're catching it mid-pack at this point in time, and there are just cars everywhere. Oh, tough break for a lot of these cars right here. But I really believe the whole thing started when the 19 kind of drifted up, got into the side of Nick Geisen. And it was towards the front of the pack and just really collected up a lot of good cars.
Yeah, and I've been noticing he's had trouble keeping that car in the line for most of the race. It's been coming up off the bottom quite a bit. It was just a matter of time before that was going to happen.
Yeah, we got a lot of cars heading down pit road right now. As you're watching the timing and scoring on the left-hand side, I mean, that really took out a lot of these cars. And I want to say we've only got about 7 cars right now that are running on the track that weren't involved in that wreck.
Yeah, pit road's gonna be busy. There's gonna be a lot of fenders banging.
Yeah, there's a couple of cars that were even involved in that, like Jonah Colbert, the 19 of Matt Kleeman that kind of started the whole thing off. Are still out on the track, so they're probably trying to just make sure they don't go a lap down, and they're going to have to bring those cars down pit road and get them fixed up. And here they come. All of our leaders, as a matter of fact, are coming down pit road to grab some tires and grab some fuel. So I think this guy's got a couple fast repairs here, so hopefully it won't hurt some of these guys in their efforts to get out here and compete tonight and try to race for the win of this. That was a big, big wreck there, guys.
Yeah, I went back and looked at it and looked like, he had to check up and that top line was going and whenever you see the other line moving and your line's going backwards, you kind of think maybe I can throw it 3-wide and see what happens, and the gap kind of closed up there. So I'm not sure what he was trying to do, but it did not work out.
Yeah, tough break for a lot of cars here this evening, but still quite a bit of racing left. We've got 24 laps left here in the schedule 40 tonight, so guys will get these cars fixed up. And I've seen it many, many times, man. You get involved in an accident, and the next thing you know, you're starting back in the 20-somethings, and you get a couple good runs and split a couple people 3-wide, and you're back up into the top 5 and competing for the win. So some of these guys are getting those cars fixed up, and we'll have to see what happens here. But Colton Lanford, that number 25 car, is still out front. He has not pitted. I'm not sure if he realizes how much damage is done to the right front of his car. He looks like he's going to take a chance here and stay out.
Yeah, it does look like the right front's pretty knocked in.
Yeah, when you can
Like his
see
tire
the
sticking out.
Yeah, you can see the entire tire going down the straightaway. That is not a good thing.
He's a wall bang from a modified.
Sharp looking car though. Very sharp paint job on that car here this evening. So, and it's good to see that Phil the Hitman Manzo is up front, going to restart this race in second position. So great, position for him. He's actually up 14 spots from where he started. Eric Burkhalter in that number 71 right now, having himself a great race, up 11 spots from where he started. We've talked about Justin Hendry a couple different times here this evening, but having himself a good race. Stephen Gibson sitting back in fifth position right now. Matt Kleeman is kind of involved in that wreck, sitting up in the sixth position, I believe. Charles Stevens Jr. first time to call his number at 88. Always finds his way up front in each and every race. So great to see him, racing up here in the top 10 already. Rich Yeoman in that 07 car, that Home Depot 07 car, having a good race. Up 22 positions from where he started in ninth. And rounding out our top 10 right now is Jesse Nekula in the 84 car. Up 2 positions from where he started. So a lot of good racing back through the field here. Check in on a couple of our different drivers here. We'll look back at the 31 of Joe McColber. He has got some repairs done to that car, and hopefully we'll get back up here and be able to.
He's got a donut on that car. It looks like he may have elected to save his one of his 2 fast repairs, which may end up being a smart move.
Yeah, a lot of times you don't know what you're going to get involved in, so we just kind of try to keep them in the pocket if it's not too bad. As the pace car has hung that hard left and down pit road they go, and we are back under green as Colton Lanford takes off. It's a good jump. A lot of times with these plate tracks, it's not what you want, as the rest of the field is going to come bearing down on him short.
Yeah, I definitely don't want that. I wouldn't want to do that. You get out there and you start to feel really lonely.
71 grabs a little bit of apron there and almost gets in the inside of the Hitman. So everybody keeps it straight here, and that outside line is really moving strong. It looks like the first 3 cars in the outside line are going to clear the inside line. Phil the Hitman Monzo out to the point.
What a move.
Good for you, Phil.
Come on, Phil. Lead this lap. Come around. Oh, it's going to be close. Did he lead that lap? He did not. Justin Hendry was able to lead that lap there. Man, it's pulling for him on that one.
53 is not doing Phil any favors staying that far back. He needs to get tucked up under that car and push him. And I don't mean actually putting a bumper to him, but get up closer than that. Fill that gap. The outside line has definitely got the advantage right now.
85 drops down in front of the 44. And we have our Justin Hendry back out to the point of this race. Phil the Hitman Monzo falls in line, and we still have 2 very distinct lines all the way back to the field. And we're going to have to see how that outside line, now led by Charles Stevens Jr., is able to build and run and pull up next to that inside line.
We get another caution, I bet put it in the memory bank about what happened to Colton there. Just getting out too far out and see what happened. As those three cars on the top were able to freight train right by him. So the next leader if there is another caution, you may not want to jump out too far like that. He ended up getting swallowed up.
Yeah, the leader always has control of the restarts here in iRacing. And in real life, but you got a big restart zone when it comes to iRacing from the time
Caution. Got another caution.
From the time the car pulls off, the pace car pulls off until the green flag flies. You can start whenever you want to, but plate tracks, I usually keep it to when the flagman throws the green flag, because you don't want to jump out to a lead at a plate track.
Yeah, it looks like the 55 car of Charlie Gates looked like he may have blinked out, and then when he came back in, it was somebody didn't know where he was and just kind of got caught up and had a little bit of accident, about 3 or 4 cars in the back.
Yeah, and caught up to him as he was pulling the car down onto pit road, and he was missing the right front tire, so he definitely needed to come down pit road, grab the fast repair, and we'll head back out there and get back underway. I tell you, our biggest mover of the race right now is that 07 car of Rich Hillman, up 26 spots from where he started. He's up to 5th position right now, guys.
Wow. That's going from the back to the front. That's pretty good. Good run for Rich.
Our second biggest mover of the race right now is Jonah Colbert, one of them JC Motorsports guys. He's up 20 positions from where he started, sitting back there in 13th. Got involved in that, the big one there. But has been able to maneuver that car back up through the field here a little bit. Be curious to see as the race continues on if he's able to get back up into that top 5 and battle for the win here tonight.
Yeah, I think as we were crossing over halfway, I think we'll see the names up front change quite a few more times. As we got guys who are just hanging around in the back trying to save their fast repairs, guys trying to work their way to the front. It just seems to be kind of a rubber band or slinky effect about how things go in these races. So
yeah, it's always, you never can count on the finishing order in these races. I mean, I've been involved in races where I thought I was done. I'm sitting back in 13th to 15th position, and then a bunch of people wreck in front of me, and I end up getting the top 5 out of it. I've also been on the opposite end of things where I thought I was getting ready to win a race, and you head off into 3 and 4, and somebody gets a little aggressive or whatever, and you end up finishing back in 25th. So you never know what's going to happen, so don't place your bets quite yet, as we're going to have probably about 17 laps to go when we do take the green flag this time around.
And with the caution lights still on the pace car, we'll at least have one more lap of pacing here. So I think it's give us an opportunity to do Mama Ellingson's short track showcase.
I love it. Let's do it.
All right. Well, the woke culture has reared its ugly head at Bowman Gray Stadium. Bowman Gray was, I believe it was a week or so ago, maybe it was 2 weeks ago now, opened up. They didn't race at all last year there, so this was the first race back after COVID. And as everybody is aware, the Confederate flag, rebel flag, whatever you want to call it, has been banned from NASCAR properties, and that includes sanctioned tracks. Now, no one came into Bowman Gray waving a flag around or anything like that, but a driver, I'll leave his name out of it, really not important, had placed a Confederate flag in the inside of his car about 10 years ago. And it's not a car he normally drives or normally races, but he happened to be out that weekend at Bowman Gray. This car went through tech inspection, had all kinds of people all over it. All this stuff went on with it. No one said a word to him until it came time to race, and then he was disqualified. The driver has said that he didn't even remember that the sticker was in there, and he would have gladly removed it if anybody had said anything to him. So, not sure really what happened or how that even came to be. I don't believe that thing could have been seen unless somebody purposely went out of their way to bring it to somebody else's attention as far as a track official or something. So I think that's kind of a weak move when a thing is out of sight. Granted, it's not supposed to be there, but come on, guys. I mean, it's racing. We should be a family. And it's kind of low. So, in other news, in the short track circuit, Pagan Ellison scored a win in her heat race last weekend, but unfortunately in the main was taken out on the first lap. Keep working hard, Pagan. It's going to work out for you. Keep working.
As we're back under green here, and Charles Stevens Jr. has jumped to the outside of our leader, Charles did. And we just got action all the way back through here. Phil the Hitman Monzo has jumped to the outside line as well. Pushed Charles Stevens cars are getting lined up here. We're coming up to 16 laps to go. Boy, I tell you, the excitement level and the aggression level is definitely going to pick up now that we're past halfway.
Yeah, I think a lot of these guys have been, you know, dragging the brake, lifting the throttle, just trying to stay in line. And you see some aggressive lane changes here. But man, you know, now these runs, people aren't going to give them up so easily, and I think it's about to pick up and get really exciting.
Yeah, just a lot of exciting races, a lot of aggressive lane changes. Every time I see one of these cars making those changes, it just kind of makes me pause. Oh, I hope the spotter said they were clear. Well, great to see Charles Stevens Jr. out front right now. And both cars are clear. Oh, yep, they're clear. All right. Both the 88 and 35 clear the 85, drop down to the inside. So Charles Stevens Jr. is to the point of this race here, leading the Oswald Racing 100, the Magic Mountains ARCA Series, brought to you by Flexible Freight Solutions. Woo!
You almost got it.
Almost got it. Almost got through it.
Oh, Steven Gibson, he was feeling lonely for a second out there on the outside, but it looks like Justin Hendry jumped up there and saw a little bit of opportunity and jumped up there with him because he was going to go back real fast if that wasn't the case. Yeah, the ARCA cars can kind of hang on by themselves for a little while using a little bit aggressive, don't bump, a little aggressive side draft. You can hang out for a little bit until 2 or 3 cars get pretty close, and so I know he's glad there's a car or two up there now as the top line starts to form.
I'll tell you what I'm really finding cool right now, and it isn't very
and there goes the bump. The bump went wrong.
Yes. Oh, they're still wrecking. 53 comes back up the track, takes out the 34. Oh, heavy damage to that 53 car. Wow.
You can kind of see it happening right there. They were getting nose to tail and saw it as they were going through the trial that he'd gotten to the bumper there, gave a little bit of a bump, and just turned that car around. And 94, the left front is pushed up underneath the hood. 53 car, a lot of damage there to his car. So we have another big accident here.
53's got a little body roll. It's like he's driving a 65 Impala.
Well, you should see the 94, Eddie. He's three-wheeling it right now.
That's from Mars. I don't know what that is.
Yeah. Yep. Need to get the hydraulics fixed on that car. He is definitely three-wheeling it right now.
Yeah, that's what we talked about at the beginning of the race. Like these bumpers don't line up at all. This the old style, early 2000s, I believe, or late 2000s, where the nose kind of sticks out and the bumper is a little bit higher, and so there's nothing to really push on. You really just what you end up doing is lifting the back tires of the guy you're trying to push off the ground, and then he either just goes to the right or the left. You just can't bump, and it's so hard not to because you just want to. Go on, man, get on. You just can't. So that's kind of that's what ends up happening.
Yeah, and I think you hit it right there, Eddie. I mean, if you look at the nose of these ARCA cars, I mean, it is almost like a ramp. I mean, they got a pretty aggressive nose to them, and then you look at the rear of these cars, which are a little bit higher up in the air to get that spoiler in the air, and you try to get up there and bump, and what you're doing is really, like you said, you're lifting the rear end of the car in front of you up, and there's nothing that they can do at that point in time. It usually causes a lot of mayhem, as we've seen here a couple times this evening. Tough break though, but you know, a lot of times when you're on that outside line or you're trying to battle for the lead, or the car in front of you is battling for the lead, you just want to give them that extra push. Give them a little extra, you know, so they could move on by, and hopefully you can move with them. And didn't work out this time for these guys. Take a look.
It'll be interesting.
Go ahead.
it'll be interesting to see who still has a fast repair left. There's been quite a few big wrecks, and so I know there's probably been a couple guys caught up in a couple of them. So it'll be interesting to see how many, brand new cars are out there, and how many, how many cars that just been worked on a little bit.
Yeah, so
as they start getting close to the end. Sorry.
Take a look back through the field. No, all good, man. Our biggest mover of the race right now is, well, actually, they're both kind of tied for it. Rich Yeoman is up 27 spots from where he started, and then Jonah Colbert also up 27 spots from where he started. Both of those guys are sitting 4th and 6th at this point in time. Some great races there. As we take a look back through some of the field here, we got Jesse Necula sitting back in 8th. Brandon Wallace sitting back in 9th. Josh Thompson sitting in 10th. Todd Schott really haven't called his number at all tonight in that 426, but he's up 14 spots from where he started. Chuck Pegleg Phelps there, up 7 positions from where he started at 12. John Geis haven't called his number all night long. He is back there in 13th position, up 19 spots from where he started. Butch Taylor in that 33 car in 14th. We talked about Eric Burkhalter a couple different times, but had himself a solid race. Back in 15th position. Gene Watkinson haven't called his number all night long, but in that 111 car, back in 16th. Mike Vade in that number 9, 17th. Tyler Rice haven't called his number yet tonight, but he's back there in 18th position, but still on 12 spots from where he started. And there we see that number 12 car, William Griffith. Talked a lot about him last week or earlier this week in the modified series, but having himself a good race. Colton Lanford, who was out front there for a little while, in the number 25 back in 18. We have definitely talked about the Hitman as we saw him out front for a little while. And now we look back at Josh Lockovitz in the 79 car, having himself a good race. And a lot of these guys are. Dave Jones, haven't had a chance to call his number yet tonight, but in that our favorite White Castle car, as he's part of Salty Dog Motorsports, but on Sunday nights he's racing with us at Goat Locker Racing. So good to see him having a decent night tonight. But, still a lot of racing left to go here, as we've got 10 laps left to go, and anything can happen at a plate track, Jamie. In 2 laps, we can go from 20 up to first.
Oh, sure. I mean, 10 laps at Daytona is still a lot of racing. Most other tracks, yeah, that's getting down to the end, but you're really not getting down to the end here until you got about 3 to go.
We're going to look for that pace car to hang that hard left. And we're going to get back underway with 9 laps to go here in the Oswald Racing 100. Here in the Magic Monzo's ARCA series, brought to you by Flexible Freight Solutions. Damn, Eddie, almost got it again, but couldn't quite get it.
I think you nailed it.
Thanks. As we see the 48 car try to drop down in front of the 35. Almost kind of get together there a little bit. Justin Hendrick gets out there, and that 48 car gets a big run, stays committed to him, doesn't jump to the outside. As now we see Mickey Isaac be the first car to move to the outside. It gets a huge run coming down that back stretch. There are no cars there on the outside. As the 48 car now makes the move to the outside, and Justin Hendrick in the 85 comes up to block that run.
And Kyle Roberts takes advantage of that. Oh, I did not see that.
I did not see that either. I got so wrapped up on what's happened. I'm not sure where the caution came from. So we'll go back and take a look at a few cars here. Not seeing anybody that got in trouble as of yet. And we got a car down to the inside. The number 9 of Mike Faith is come to a rest on the back stretch and then towed back to pit lane. So obviously something in the back of the field here has got these cars.
Yeah.
Got us under caution.
Looks like the 111 of Team Watkinson tried to get back down to the bottom, and looks like Eric Burkhalter was there, and they just kind of got tangled up.
Definitely see that from time to time. Another number we just really haven't had a chance to call tonight is the 77 of Magic Mike Uribe. Back there in, looks like 29th position, a couple laps down. So obviously got involved in a couple things early into this race, but good to give him a shout out. Good to see you out in the race tonight, Magic Mike.
it was interesting on that last green flag start. Before they get wound up, they all just wanted to get down to the bottom. Everybody's just bailing on the top line. Interesting to kind of see that. I guess as soon as they start to have to check up with all those runs, the top line will form. But there's a lot of guys who just could not wait to get down to the bottom.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of aggressive moves going on to make that happen. And then even there on the backstretch, you know, Jason Lotrich, I think, changed lanes 3 times, trying to get a move on Justin Hendry. Didn't quite work out for him, but you know, caution came out and had Kyle Roberts have to fall back behind him because Kyle Roberts took advantage of it and then got to the inside and was making a run. It's unfortunate that caution came out.
Well, the moves are only going to get more aggressive at this point in time as the laps are starting to wind down. You know, we're going to get the green flag with probably 5 laps to go. My guess at this point in time, 4 or 5 laps to go. So they're going to have to make some aggressive moves here, and some of those guys back in 8th, 9th, 10th, you know, position are really going to have to try to work their way up through the field as quickly as possible. I doubt very seriously this is the last caution we'll see this evening. But
no way, yeah.
but we'll see. You never know. But I doubt it is the last caution we'll see, as the aggression level is only going to pick up from this point forward.
Yeah, I feel like this is the time you start to really see who's really good at plate tracks. There's some I think there's just something in your genes, something in your DNA that just makes you good at a plate track. Like I said, some guys try to put on their Earnhardt hats and, you know, put their Goodwrench jackets on. That don't make them any good. But there's some guys who just pick it up naturally and know how to do it even in iRacing. And so it'll be interesting to see who those guys are as we get a little closer to the end here.
Did you ever see the movie 3? The ESPN movie they did with Earnhardt?
I did.
You did? Yeah. I think that was my favorite scene in it, when him and Neil Bonnet were walking through the woods, and Earnhardt was talking about how he could see the air coming over the top of his hood. And, you know, Neil Bonnet was kind of like, oh man, that would scare the crap out of me if I actually could see the air. But, you know, I get I think there's something to that. You know, some people just have that knack to know and you know, where they need to put their car and when they're going to get the best opportunity to make a run. And, you know, there's just a knack to it. Some people have it, some people don't. I'm with you. I don't really care for plate track racing. I guess I'm fortunate enough that I tend to qualify pretty good on these long tracks, but so I can
pretty
get up
safe out front.
Well, yeah, you would think that, but you know, I don't know. It's maybe a little less hectic, I guess, for at least for a few laps until, you know, the runs start forming, and you know, then it just gets crazy. It doesn't matter where you're at, but yeah, there's definitely, you know, some people just really take to this style of racing for whatever reason.
And you think it's a slot, you know, a lot of people say, oh, it's all luck and it's all a slot machine, it's a gamble, you know, it's all those things, all the Las Vegas metaphors. But it's usually the same guys winning it every time, you know, it's usually the same folks. So there's got to be something there.
Yeah, as we're looking, and that case, pace car hangs that hard left down pit road. We are going to have a handful of laps left as the green flag comes out. We're back underway here at the Oswald Racing 100. Flexible Freight Solutions, ARCA Menard series, and they are 2 by 2. That's all I ever wanted. I just want you to, you know, I want you to have the confidence that I'm doing it the right way, man. There's that outside line, man. The 01 of Mickey Isaac really tucked up underneath the 48 of Jason Lotrich there, trying to get that outside line moving with that 85. Justin Hendry and the 35, Kyle Robertson in the inside, trying to make a comeback, but the 48 car clears him, drops down to the inside, and now it's Mickey Isaac to the outside, leading that outside charge. Oh, man, and they are really getting aggressive about how close they are. And, whew.
Yeah, Isaac did such a great job there getting the Josh Thompson out to the front. That's exactly what you want to do, and Justin Henry's doing it right now. Get as close as you can without touching, and you'll be as fast as any 3 cars that have gaps, like what you see on the top. If the 3 cars on the bottom can get close like that and stay close as you dragging the brake, you just generate so much speed that it's really, really hard. So the 19 and the 99 car is going to have to get a little bit closer and stop weaving back and forth to be able to get that top line rolling.
Yeah, my goodness, 19 looks like it's getting shuffled out of line here. And that top line really got broke up there. And now we see Jonah Colbert jump up to the outside as he sees the opportunity.
Another big one. Chuck Phelps, Phil Monzo.
Tough break here. We're going to have to line them back up again and see what happens here. We'll see if we've got cars everywhere down to the inside. Chuck Phelps and Tyler Rice are still wrecking down on the infield here. And, a couple different cars. Josh Lacowitz in that 79 car is all backed up. So we got a lot of cars that are tore up. 53 cars. Stephen M. Gibson. Man. Another big one.
Yeah, it's good to do that whenever you get in a big wreck like that. Just go over and hit another guy and be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, man. My left front's locked up. I couldn't turn." Let a little of that frustration out.
Yeah, oops. Sorry about that. Man, another thing we haven't talked about all day long is, again, these ARCA cars. I think we talked about it earlier in the week, Jamie, with the super late models and the new damage model. But these ARCA cars also fall under the new damage models. So a lot of times, what you're seeing here on track is when they get into these accidents, they're losing right front tires, they're breaking suspension parts. Guys are struggling to get their cars back to pit lane because these ARCA cars they fall under the new iRacing damage model as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool to look at. I'm sure it's not very cool when you're out there and it's happening to you, but definitely looks good on the screen.
I gotta tell you, the ARCA car is probably one of my favorite cars to drive on the service. It's kind of a throwback iRacing car where it seems, I think it's got the new tire model now, but it's always kind of handled similar to the way the old Cup car used to handle, where you go down in the corner, some of these 1.5 milers, and you get on the gas, you almost turn it right throughout the whole corner, and you're just right there on the edge. It just takes so much car control to be fast in these. Definitely one of the most fun cars that they have.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Some of the most fun that we have racing, and I know Jamie would agree with me as well, is when we get behind the wheel of one of these cars that it really takes a driver to wheel them around. And these ARCA cars are like that. The Toro Modifieds are like that. But you start the more you step up in the series, trucks are still a lot of fun. You still got to really drive those. They're a little underpowered, so sometimes they can be, not quite as exciting. But when you step up in the Xfinity and the Cup Series, and especially the next-gen car. The next-gen car, I really think all you got to do is just mash the gas and it drives itself. So put me behind the wheel of one of these ARCA cars or a Toro Modified at any point in time. I want to go out there and be a driver.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime that I can drive with the pedal in the corners and really have to catch it, get loose or it gets tight. And, with the car, like the Cup car and the next gen car, they just handle abuse. You can abuse it. It doesn't seem like it matters if you drive it carefully or drive it hard. The Cup car is that way. I always had a saying, and oh my goodness, we're almost wrecking under caution hit back here. I always had a saying in the Cup car in our league was, don't save. It's a waste of time. It doesn't hurt the tires. You don't even need to. But so I don't really like that. And a lot of times with that big spoiler, it really just doesn't feel that great to have to feel like, I'm always in the draft. I'm flat footing it for about 5 to 10 laps. I want to drive it from the get go. I don't think I said anything. I talked for like 30 seconds and say a word. Nothing that meant anything. I'm gonna take a back seat. Y'all take it for a while.
I mean, you said a few things, and it made sense. But yeah, I mean, I completely agree. I think we have so much fun calling the ARCA series, calling Super Late Model series, Tour Modified series, Street Stock series on Monday evenings with Magic Mike and Phil the Hitman Monzo. Just too much fun watching these cars go around the track, watching these drivers really have to work these cars and get out there and wheel them to the win. So. Yeah, I'd love to be out there tonight. I mean, I guess I'm a little bit different than you guys. Again, I don't mind plate racing. I think it takes not only somebody that kind of gets it a little bit or whatever it is, but you just got to be like a twitch of crazy. You really got to be able to put your car on the door of somebody else at 200 miles an hour and be okay with it. You got to be okay with running 3 wide and just keep your line. So I think you got to just be a little bit crazy, and then also understand, airflow and how the air affects your car and other cars around you. And see, I left the door wide open right there for anybody to jump in and be like, you know what, Matt? Yeah, you are a twitch of crazy. And nobody stepped through that door, so congratulations to the both of you.
Everybody already knows. We don't have to tell them.
All right, fair enough. Thanks, guys. So the pace car is pulled off. We are back underway here. 3 laps ago, our first green-white checkered here at the Oswald Racing 100, brought to you by Flexible Freight Solutions. And the 85 car, Justin Hendry, really kind of jumped out there. The 48 and 01 are right there behind him, so we've got a little bit of a 3-car breakaway, and if they can get nose to tail, they might be able to settle it out between themselves.
Yeah, really good start there. These guys behind them, though, if they get close, you see Jonah Culver getting right to the back bumper of the 35 car. If they can ever get a run, those top 3 will be struggling.
Mickey Isaac is the first one to jump out of line. 48 car moves to block it. 85 comes up and tries to block. 48 moves down. Oh, and
no.
Yep, and we are, and another big one is underway. So it looked like somebody kind of blinked out there a little bit, but the wreck was already happening as Mickey Isaac gets turned around. And we're going to line them up, and we're going to try this again. Tough break. And that 07 car is all kinds of tore up. Probably have to tow back to the pits. We have another car smoking on the going through the tri-oval right now. So a lot of cars tore up once again.
Yeah, the programmers who are working on that new damage model are probably smiling ear for ear.
I mean, I'll agree wholeheartedly with Jamie from the standpoint of doing a broadcast and watching some of this thing and these cars popping right front tires off and everything else. I mean, it's pretty dang cool. But when you're the driver of the car and one of your tires is off the ground and you can't limp it back to pit road, I'm sure it's pretty frustrating. We're going to see some new faces up front for this restart.
Yeah, and look who we got our Goat Locker Racing Davy Jones sitting in the 5th spot.
Yeah, like we said, you never know, man. You don't place your bets until the white flag comes out of who's going to win one of these things, and even at that point in time, you can't really place your bets. So we had a couple cars up front for quite some time there, but get tangled up, get turned around, collect a few more cars up. We got a new group of drivers out front. They're going to be battling for the win here this evening. I think they only have 2 green-white checkers, and this is going to be our second attempt, if I'm right, Jamie.
Yes, it's two green-white checkers. This is the second attempt. So this race is going to end after this one way or the other. Hopefully it'll be under green.
Now we find Jason Lottridge out front, followed by Josh Thompson in the number 3. Haven't called his number a whole lot this evening. He's got some right front damage there, so he's probably going to have to stay tucked in behind if he's going to get a decent finish this evening. got a bad feeling if he decides to step out. You know, as Eddie was talking about a little bit earlier, that parachute effect's going to happen, and he's just going to fall back. We're also seeing Matt Kleeman back up front here in that number 19 car, a pole sitter from tonight, back sitting in third position. Now one of our biggest movers in the race is Brandon Wallace in number 99. He's up 22 spots from where he started. He's going to restart here in fourth position. Running out of the top 5 is going to be Alan Winecki in that number 72. Up a position from where he started, but solidly sitting in the top 5. And great to see Davy Jones. Now it looks like he's going to restart 7th. He's up 17 spots from where he started, and you know, every time, and I'll always have to reflect back to last season when Davy Jones had a little better jokes than me and you, Jamie.
Yeah, he sure did.
Yeah, he got both of us. Had some frozen White Castle shipped to you, and then the night of the race, the ARCA race. DoorDash shows up at my house, and my wife walks upstairs with a Crave case, and it's like, why is there a Crave case of White Castles here this evening? And I'm like, I can tell you exactly why it's here this evening. So we made it through that race, both chomping on some White Castles. I probably ate way too many White Castles, and definitely paid for it the next day. But man, they were delicious.
That don't sound like a prank. That sounds awesome.
It was.
Man.
It was. It was amazing.
That's the nicest prank I've ever heard of.
Yeah, I tell you what, when that Crave case showed up, it caught the attention of all 3 of my dogs as well. So I'm up here trying to eat some White Castles, and I got all 3 of my dogs staring at me like, "Hey, man, you gonna share a little bit?" But again, it goes back to all the guys and all the series here at in the original Rebels League. Guys over at Goat Locker Racing, man, a lot of great drivers out here, have a lot of fun together. Definitely feel the sense of community and brotherhood. That was just super cool. And again, anytime anybody wants to deliver me a Crave case of White Castles at 9 o'clock at night, please send them my way.
Yeah, I hope I get pranked every day, if that's the case.
All right, Pat, you mentioned the dogs. Mama Ellingson is wanting to know what kind of dogs.
Well, I have 3. I'm a big fan of rescue dogs. I've rescued dogs all my entire life, and so they're a mix. My oldest dog, Bailey, she's 7 years old, and she's a pit bull pointer mix. Beautiful dog. Gunner is my middle dog. He's 4 years old. He's a Catahoula leopard dog. And then my youngest dog, she is 1 year old, and her name's Roxy, and she's a boxer terrier. So a little mix of everything. But we're back underway. And the 48 of Jason Lyridge has jumped out to the lead right now with the 19 of Matt Kleeman tied on his bumper, but he jumps to the outside at this point in time.
They're wrecked again. This race is over. Jason Lyridge is going to win.
We are back under caution yet one more time here as Butch Taylor has crashed. We'll go take a look as I saw another car shooting off to the inside. I'm not sure what was happening here at this point in time. But 33 really rams into the back of the 01 there. Just tough way to end this race here. You kind of hate to see it. I don't think anybody wants to see a race, finish under caution, but looks like that's what we're going to see here this evening, guys.
Well, it was exciting. I hate to see it end under caution, like you said. It's just that's the way it goes. You got to put yourself in those positions. We talk about being up front, being in the back. Well, at the end of the race, you definitely want to be where Jason was, and knowing that a caution is going to come out and try to guard against those runs, and he did a good job of it.
Yeah, he absolutely did. So, congratulations to him on the win. And great racing here this evening, though, in the Oswald Racing 100. Again, with the new sponsorship on board by Flexible Freight Solutions. Thanks to Davy Jones, as a matter of fact. Good 40 laps of racing here. Well, 40-plus laps of racing here this evening. A lot of different names we saw up front all night long, guys.
Yeah, it seemed to change. Gosh, I don't think the top 5 was the same for more than 1 or 2 laps. It just seemed like it constantly moved and shuffled. So it was exciting. Hard to really keep up with who was moving and who was going backwards and stuff. So it just a pretty exciting race.
Yeah, these guys are going to finish up under caution here, so it's going to take them a lap or so here to finish this out because they still got to finish all the laps and actually get the checkered flag here. So we'll take a short pause here.
Yeah. Oh goodness. No, you're not good. Probably going to be some black flags issued here because, as we saw in a goat locker race, the race is not over until all the cars cross the line, and all the leaders went around the pace car and they were told not to. So we'll see how that affects anything. I'm sure it'll just adjust the standings, but
yeah, that'll definitely mix up the results here. But I think the top 3 from the way the race actually ended is Jason Lottridge, Matt Kleeman, and Ellen Wernecke, if I've got it right, guys.
That's what I got.
Yeah, that's the way it should be.
Yeah, and we've seen that before. And sometimes I don't think guys understand. Even when the race finishes under caution, you've got to complete that lap out, and everybody's got to get across the start-finish line before any kind of mayhem or craziness ensues. But again, congratulations to our winner, Jason Lottridge, winning the first race of the season here in the ARCA Menard Series, brought to you by Magic Manzo and Flexible Freight Solutions. Great night of racing. Had a ton of fun with it. Can't wait to talk to some of these guys and see how it went from their point of view. But a lot of comers and goers, but you're going to see that every time it plays. And yep, the Demolition Derby is on. There's another one of those things here in the Rebels League that, if you win a race, you better get your donuts done quickly. And Eddie, you kind of learned that lesson earlier this evening in the Xfinity race.
Yeah, I got sent to the Shadow Realm. I got stuck in the wall, and then I had to get some people to get me out. And old Fry Hubbard, you can always count on him to give you a good lick. And he came around full speed and knocked me off. And yeah, and I went to the Shadow Realm, never to return.
Always a good time, man. Always a good time. So let's see if we can't find Jason Lottridge and drag him up here and talk to him. And you never know where these guys are hiding in Discord. And he's actually up in the waiting room. And I like him even better now. Hey, Jason, you got Pat, Jamie, and Eddie up in the booth. You got a copy?
I got a copy.
Well, man, one heck of a race here this evening. Plate racing, it's always kind of a gamble a little bit, but some guys, we talked about it during the broadcast, have a knack for it, and you definitely seem to have a knack for it here this evening. So take me through your race tonight, kind of a little bit caution-filled, and how you brought that number 48 home with the win.
Well, guys, I just the first started mid-pack, and I really wanted to not have to use any of my fast repairs, but that first incident kind of threw me for a loop. So I just sat in the back for a little while until I got my time, and that one of those last cautions, everybody pitted, and I just kind of stayed up front with Kyle and some of the other guys, and just kind of took my time and was patient, and that's just kind of how it went.
Hey, Jason, congratulations on the win, man. That is huge. You win the open race of the season. So what's going to be your thoughts going forward with this season? Is this going to catapult you on a championship run here?
I hope so, to be honest. But there's a lot of good drivers in this league that are really, really good on those, 1.5 mile tracks. And so my goal is to just kind of stay as close as I can to the top 10 all season long. And hopefully, I think we have Talladega later in the year. So hopefully I can get another win at another super speedway. I feel like those are my best tracks, mostly the most lucky tracks, but I feel those are my best tracks. And if I can get another win, I think I'll be locked into the playoffs by then, and hopefully catapult that to a championship.
That sounds
Jason.
like a plan.
Oh.
Go ahead, Eddie.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Jason, and man, it was a great win. What was kind of your mindset on those last few green white checkers? You know, did you have a plan? Were you just gonna, keep it to the floor and pray, or, what was your plan?
Well, that first green white checker when Justin, and he was making himself pretty wide on that back stretch. I was when I darted down to that low lane when he went high. I felt like I had a great run, and then they wrecked, and I kind of took a little stuff off my shoulders there, and then Kyle has always been a good pusher, but I noticed that on that last green white checker that Josh seemed to have a little bit of bumper damage, and Brandon behind him as well. So I was just hoping for a good push from Matt, and was hoping for a good 2 laps to finish the race, whether I won or lost. I was just hoping for a good finish, but I lucked out with that yellow flag.
Well, brother, congratulations on the win. Always good to get that win. First race of the season, man. So get out there and celebrate. And great win tonight, brother.
I appreciate that, and that's my first Rebels win, so I'm excited for that. So thank you guys, appreciate it.
Hell yeah, brother. Wow, great race from him this evening. He definitely one of those rare cats that actually likes the plate races. So good race from him tonight. And let's grab Matt Kleeman, our second place finisher, and talk to him and see how his race went tonight. Hey, Matt, it's Pat, Jamie, and Eddie up in the booth here this evening. You got a copy?
Yeah.
So, good race from you here this evening. I mean, you started from the pole, gotten involved in a couple of the little incidents there throughout the race, but was able to drive the number 19 car back up to second position. So, kind of take me through your race tonight and how you brought it home in second.
I was doing pretty good there. At the beginning, I knew I had a couple of guys that were working together. I seen them in practice working together, so I knew it was going to get swallowed up pretty fast. So then it was just kind of maintain up front. Don't push the issue too much. Don't slam holes closed. So it was just pretty much riding up front.
All right, Matt. So congratulations on the second place finish. Way to kick off your season here. So what's your thoughts moving forward for the rest of the season? You going to have a shot here at this championship?
We're going to give it a shot. And I ran a couple of races at the tail end of last season, but this is going to be my first full season with the ORRL. So we're going to see what we can do.
Hey, Matt, this is Eddie. On that last restart, did you think you had anything for any of them guys up front, or were you going to try to stick with him, or were you going to try to make a move? Did you have any plan?
Well, during warm-ups, I was working with Josh Thompson pretty good, and so I saw him on the outside, and whenever there was a little bit of a gap, just as I went to make the move to the outside is when the last caution flew, so that ended that.
Well, I mean, a great night of racing for you, brother. Obviously, great night of, great couple weeks here for the Daytona Speed Weeks when you qualified on the pole, and then even getting tangled up a couple times to bring it home in second place, man. Congratulations to you. Get out there and celebrate.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
So, all right, guys, let's talk to our third place finisher, Alan Wernicke. Hey, Alan, it's Pat, Jamie, and Eddie up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
He's like, wait a minute, I got body snatched. I was hanging out in one place, and now I'm up here talking to a bunch of guys. But, hey, great race here tonight. Able to bring that number 72 car home in third place. So take us through your race tonight and how you got that podium finish.
Yeah, it was an interesting night. I ended up actually starting on pit road, just not sure how the whole thing would shake out, and I was actually able to save all of my fast repairs. So that's something small I can hang my hat on, I guess. I ended up linking up with Davey towards the middle of the race, and me and him worked real good all through the race, just kind of hanging back and giving each other room when they would wreck, and just kind of found ourselves up front.
Wow, and man, that's an accomplishment, getting through that race with all your fast repairs still intact, because we saw about 3 big ones during that one that took out almost the majority of the field. So outstanding driving on your part. So you finished third here tonight. Great finish, a great way to start your season. So what's your thoughts for the rest of the season and having a shot at winning this championship?
We're taking it race by race. I'm going to show up for all of them, and we'll give it a shot and see what we can do.
Congratulations, Alan. That was a lot of fun to watch. What kind of plate racer kind of guy are you? Are you the type to hang around in the back? You try to push up to the front, or what's normally your strategy when you go into these races?
Try to finish in the top half and run in back as long as you think you can. These cars are tough, not being able to bump draft, so it's tough to get a run on any line without being able to push anybody. So I made up some spots with one of the big wrecks that I stayed out of, and the first green-white checkered, I actually got a decent amount of damage. So the last restart, I was going to try to keep the nose as close as I could to the guy in front of me and keep it out of the air.
Well, hey, man, congratulations on a third-place finish here this evening. You definitely played your strategy right, was able to avoid some of those wrecks. So, as I told everybody else, man, get out there and celebrate, man. First race of the season, and to be able to survive it with a podium finish is a great race no matter what. So, congratulations, Alan.
I appreciate it, guys. Hopefully I'll talk to you in the next couple of weeks.
Sounds good, my friend. Well, there, fellers. Interesting night of racing for sure. We had a couple of runs there with some green flag racing and guys mixing it up, but definitely got aggressive a couple different times. And I think, Jamie, you even said it. We must have saw at least 3 big ones.
Yeah. And with the previous plate races we've done with this ARCA series, we had the yellows, but honestly, we never really saw the big mass wreck like we saw several times tonight, which, man, I mean, it's part of it. It's not a knock on anybody. Things happen, especially when they happen in front of the field. So, tough break. But look, a lot of names up here at the top of this that we don't normally, we just talked to 3 guys that we don't normally talk to. Usually every week we're talking to Jonah, we're talking to Garrett or Mickey, but it was nice to talk to some different faces tonight. And I was a little premature earlier with talking about Davy Jones being in the top 5. Racing time and scoring kind of messed me up a little bit, but I must have been seeing the future because Davy Jones brought that 10th home, number 10 car home in 5th place. So, good run, good start for a lot of these guys, even with all these wrecks.
And I'm pretty sure the deal with Davy Jones is anytime he finishes in the top 5, the entire broadcast booth gets White Castles.
I thought that was a rule, yeah.
Well, I'm a Davy Jones fan immediately.
But Eddie, man, I tell you, man, first time calling an ARCA race with this, man. Great to have you in the booth as always, man. So what are your thoughts about the race and how it went tonight?
Well, it was exciting for sure. I think, like you said, it's really nice to see some names that you don't get to talk to, some guys that you don't normally get to talk to maybe. And sometimes it takes can be a catapult to someone having a really good season, getting that confidence booster, finishing in the top 5, winning a race, getting, for Jason to win a race, and be, he's the points leader until next week at least. So it's cool to win one of these, and there's no better way of starting your season than winning the first race. There's no doubt about that. So it'd been nice to see a little bit more green flag and see what some of these guys had. Some guys who were kind of waiting in the back, but that's the strategy. I think you wait in the back and you end up going home a little sad because you didn't get a chance to get up front. So but overall, really good race, really fun to watch, and so I enjoyed it for sure.
Oh, outstanding, man. Yeah, a lot of fun. Always a lot of fun here in the ARCA series. But as we move into the next week's here, we'll take a look at our finishing order here. But some great runs, and so, again, talking about Davy Jones and finishing there in 5th position in the number 10 car. You look at Charles Stevens Jr. In that 88, finished in 7th. William Griffith, didn't get a chance to call his name a lot this evening, but brought that car home with the top 10. Jonah Colbert back there in 14th position. Mickey Isaac gets caught up a little bit late there, ends up in 16th. So some guys definitely had some good nights. Some guys, maybe not the night that they were looking at there, but a lot of great racing all throughout this evening. And we look back here, some of the guys that finished a couple laps down, and we look at guys like Garrett Kender, who's really been dominant here in the ARCA series, finished a couple laps down in that number 13 back in 23rd position. So some guys are going to have a little bit of a hill to climb as the season starts off, but for guys that had great finishes here tonight, great way to start off the season. And again, from us here at Goat Locker Racing, I want to give a big shout out to our sponsors as well, Jam Printing and Promotions. Everybody from Gill Insurance Advisors to Travis Lee Creative to G2G Trailers and Tracks for Vets. Big shout out and thank you, and everybody that tunes in and watches our races and our broadcast here on Twitch. Real big thanks to you. Had an outstanding race the other evening, and love have people tune in. Everybody's on the Rebels Racing Network. I got to slow down. Big shout out to you and everybody in the Rebels League, and Magic Mike and Phil the Hitman Monzo. Thanks for putting this on, and Flexible Freight Solutions. Thanks for coming on board and being the primary sponsor for the entire season. We're looking forward to next week as we head off in the ARCA series. But for us here this evening, we'll sign off. Thanks for everybody tuning in.